Hey there, this is a heavy-duty multi-tool shootout. We're going to look at the attributes of these three heaviest of duty multi-tools that you can buy. Two Leathermans and a Victorinox. Did look at the other options for what else could be included. The only thing that could really come close, as far as I could tell, was the SOG Power Lock. So I may well track one of them down and throw that into the mix at a later date. However, the tools on it are definitely much smaller in size, and then there's the Power Assist, which is sort of a different kettle of fish altogether, much more knife focused. So this is what we've got so far. All three of these are rather heavy, rather full featured, and definitely not designed for everyday carry, more in line with being a toolbox replacement. So Leatherman Super Tool 300, Victorinox Swisstool, this is the X model with the single blade and the scissors, and then the Leatherman Surge, and this is the new 2013 edition. So what I'm going to do, I'll go into the categories of each, and I'll sort of say which is the best, which is the middle, and which is the worst. Perhaps award 1, 2 or 3 points, or 2, 4 and 6 points if it's a more critical category, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned. Pliers. Leatherman Surge has now has a replaceable wire cutter in there, as taken from the Super Tool 300. It used to just have an enlarged irreplaceable head, sort of similar to the Victorinox. This contest is going to be between these two tools. The Victorinox pliers are probably the weakest part of the tool. They've got more of a blunt nose, which isn't terrible, but I think on multi-tool pliers it's generally more handier to have needle nose, because you've got plenty of other blunt nose pliers lying about generally. Needle nose is sort of a bit more versatile, and these really, I know these are large multi-tools, but when you compare them to a pair of pliers, like so, you sort of begin to notice that they're still not exactly heavy hitters. So that being said, the addition of that, as well as having somewhat of a unusual wire cutting surface there, sort of they're trying to guide perhaps the sizes of wire a bit too much, I'll put this in last place and probably only give it 2 points. So that leaves between these two here. Being the same plier head, and I'm talking exactly the same plier head, it then comes down to comfort of use. So here in the Super Tool, on one hand you've got pliers that close a bit narrower, so you don't have to have that super wide grip, which is a pro for the tool. But then on the Surge you've got much more rounded handles that have much less of a hot spot when you squeeze down. Neither of these are spring loaded, so you are going to be chopsticking your pliers. I'm going to go with the Surge for having the best pliers, because these nice rounded portions contrast greatly to being able to feel sort of the edges of the knives and the tools inside the handles. So 6 points for the Surge, 4 points for the Super Tool, and 2 points for the Victorinox. Blades. The Super Tool gives you a straight and a serrated blade that are internal to the frame of the tool, so you need to open the pliers to access them. Both are on a lock, and both are pretty standard 420 HC steel. Victorinox gives you a standard plain edge blade with a nail nick, accessible from the outside of the tool. Very standard sort of pioneer sized Victorinox blade, and it also gives you, for another blade, a chisel slash sort of utility edge blade, which you can use for sort of all sorts of more driving tasks. So, also locking, you can use it more to gouge at things, like so. A little bit thinking out the box from Victorinox, quite cool. The Surge gives you a plain edge blade and a serrated edge blade. Both are on the external of the tool, and both are one hand opening. I'm going to give 6 points to the Leatherman Surge, because these blades, they open very well, they line a lock, and they're of high utility. Victorinox comes second, because they open from the outside, which is sort of starting to become more and more of a of a given really for me. I never used to fuss as much, but it is much nicer to be able to just get to the knife quicker. Also, the chisel is a much more handy blade to me than most serrated blades. All that's keeping it from trumping this one is that it's not one-handed opening. The super tool's getting the 2 points. So you've got having to open them, then the large locks, which sort of hold them sort of a bit looser than the other two locking systems. And with me, one of these has actually broken on me and made it weaker. I mean, I did get it warranty replaced, but just seems less knife focused, so therefore it's just getting the 1 point. So 1 point, 2 points and 3 points for knife. Knife is only a 3-point category because I don't think it's as essential to the multi-tool as pliers. Other tool selections. So Surge, and I'll be as quick as I can. Surge comes with a file or saw bit exchanger. It comes with 2 flat drivers and an awl. It comes with a exchangeable bit driver there. So it comes with flat or Phillips. It comes with a can opener. It comes with a pretty good pair of scissors that are quite heavy duty. And that is all. Well, that is all the tools. I don't mean to be dismissive, but that's the tools you get on the Surge. Fold those bad boys in. The Victorinox, you get small driver, a nice 3-dimensional Phillips, you get a file, you get a awl or a punch, you get a pair of scissors, you get a saw, nice and long there, you get a you get a bottle opener rather, with a wire crimper and a flathead. You get a heavy crate opener / large flathead, and you get a can opener with a small flathead. That is that one there. All of these tools are locking as well. And on the super tool you get all 2 large flathead drivers, you get a large file, you get a can opener, you get a Phillips, you get a small flat there, and you get a nice long saw. As well as your 2 knife blades, of course, which aren't counted in this category. Now, which has the best tool selection? Victorinox has the best tool selection. Things like the heavy crate opener. Finally, the tool gives you some permission to pry with it, and it does pry very well. It is nice and thick. Things like the nice full 3-dimensional Phillips I appreciate more on a heavy-duty multi-tool than the bit exchanger. Has a nice pair of scissors, has a good quality file. All the tools are of high quality, as well as the chisel. I know I counted it as a blade, but that's something that the others don't have as well. It does have a couple of extra wire strippers here as well. That is the best tool selection. Then I think, and this is in the heavy-duty multi-tool category, I think the super tool has the next best selection of tools. No scissors, I understand that. I don't think you need scissors on these heavy-duty multi-tools as much. They're nice and I wouldn't go without them, but some sacrifice has been made, especially on this new model of Surge. They've gone and put 2 more flathead drivers on, when really they've gone and chosen to have this, which is also a flathead and a Phillips driver, and that's sort of the flathead driver, somewhere in the middle of those 3, I suppose. Actually, it's probably about the same size as that little one there. So they've gone and chosen to go ahead with that. So that is your only Phillips option, and it is 2-dimensional. And on a heavy-duty tool, I think 3-dimensional Phillips is more preferable. As well as that, the blade exchanger, while being a good idea, you lose a fair bit of length on the blades you have in there. So the file only has that much working edge, rather than perhaps, let's look at the Victorinox file, which has a fair bit more. The Surge has definitely gone for interchangeability and speed, and I just think in a large multi-tool like this, it is probably less essential. So the Leatherman Super Tool is going to take the 4 points, and the Leatherman Surge is going to take the 2 points. Now we're looking at overall design and ease of use. This is resolved quite simply. The Leatherman Surge has the best overall design with regard to actually using the tool. Tool selection aside, it's chosen to have the right tools accessible with one hand from the outside, that being the blade. The scissors, generally you could even one hand them, they need to click open, but nice heavy duty scissors on the outside of the tool, good idea. You've got the saw there, or the file, you've got the serrated blade. The more detailed or intricate tools are inside the handles and come out very easily as well. The Surge is getting 6 points. The Victorinox is getting 4 because everything is on the outside, which gives it something of a leg up on the Super Tool. Everything's nail nick accessible though, so it is a little bit trickier to get at what you want. And in third place with the 2 points, the Super Tool 300 goes inside handles for everything, and everything is nail nick, and everything is clumping, which I don't really mind, but it does make it a far less instantly accessible tool. And you're more likely to see someone who doesn't use these tools often sort of catch and nick themselves, so it's sort of less immediately user friendly in my opinion. Everything locks on all 3 of them. I prefer the Surge's liner lock and then this backlock bar to the Victorinox and to Victorinox's sort of pin lock slide lock, which is on the handles, and also the Super Tool's big broad flat lock on the back there. As I said, this turned out to be quite a vulnerable little point for me when I dropped it, and it caught just between the ground. I know it's probably an unlucky drop, but just in my experience, and it just holds the tools probably the weakest out of all, and you get the most blade wriggle. So just in terms of picking up general safety, Surge, Victorinox, then the Super Tool. So last little category, fit and finish, general quality. This is only worth 3 points because this isn't particularly how heavy duty or how usable the tool is, it's just kind of how nice it comes and how nice it is. Not super important for a heavy duty tool, but still important to me. The Victorinox is the nicest tool. It comes very shiny, everything locks, snaps into place with a very satisfying snick. All the tools are separately washed. They don't clump when you bring them out. The pliers open with authority. They have a nice half stop there to get the ruler out. Definitely the highest quality, I think. And then this purely is on what Leatherman have sent me. The Super Tool 300 is what it is. Its design may not be as modern and it may not be as accessible, but it is definitely a quality tool. It's very simple. It's sort of got that minimalist design. They've gone for less moving parts. They haven't got scissors, they haven't got outside opening tools, so I guess less has been able to be got wrong, but just in general the shape of it is what it's getting at 2 points. And the Surge just came with a few little snafus with it. Primarily on this particular Surge, the grind on the pliers was sort of uneven, so you can sort of see it's missing a bit. Let's get that there. Pliers sort of shaved down a bit, you can see there where my finger's pointing, and then on the other side, so whoever was on the machine that day needs a bit of a wrap over the knuckles because they kind of missed and ground the pliers. Also a bit stiffer on the opening and close, and it does mark up the surface of the pliers when you do that. Again, it's only why this is only a 3 point category, but it means a little to me when you get your knife, you get your multi-tool out and it looks a little bit scuffed up already. But again, these are all going to get scuffed up because they are designed to be hard used. Last category is value. The Leatherman Super Tool is the best value of all of these. It's about $50 or $60 cheaper than the other two, and it has almost the same tool set, just a little bit slower use. High quality tool, come with better fit and finish than the Surge, so that's getting the most points for value. Then the Surge would be the second, because you do get a lot of options with the Surge. If you were telling someone that they just needed to get one heavy duty multi-tool, this may be the one you'd recommend. Although anyone would be safe, it's just a little bit cheaper still than the Victorinox Swisstool. I got this with the double bit kit set for $160, whereas that will get you almost a Swisstool with nothing else. So these will run you about $180 if you can find them in Australia. They just seem to be short on dealers for Swistools. So again, this is just a 3 point category, so 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. Let's get tallying. Alright. Scores totaled. So bringing up the rear is the Super Tool, totaled 16 points across all categories. Then there was a tie. These each got 19 points. Super Tool bows out, but as I said, still an excellent buy and the best value of the heavy duty multi-tools. One to definitely think of if you're thinking pure toolbox replacement. Between the two of these, well, this one won on pliers and knives. This one won on general other tools, fit and finish. What was it? Well, that was about it. So yeah, Knives and pliers, just general complete tool package. So I guess that's your consideration. Both are about as easy as the other to carry. They're both about the same weight as each other. The Surge would be a little bit heavier. Surge doesn't come with any carry options. You can get a pocket clip that plugs into the back. Victorinox is completely smooth. So which would I get? Well, for a heavy duty multi-tool between the two of these, I'd still get the Victorinox Swisstool. Has the longer drivers, has the bigger, beefier tools. No compromise really. This is still sort of tried to keep the wave aesthetic of being sort of somewhat everyday carry, but the weight has just made it too much for... You're not going to carry this and use it as your primary pocket knife, it's just too big. As good as the pocket knife is. So yeah, I'd probably get the Swisstool out of both of them, but it's just been interesting to sort of compare these three to each other, and you know, I've got all three now, so I'll probably just use each one as I feel like using it. I might keep this one in my work stuff, keep this one in my shed, and keep this one in my house. It's nice to have options. Spoiled for choice. Good times. Alright, thanks for watching, dudes. I'll see you all later.